Hey there, Gemini. Welcome to your reading for the week of June 24th. I'm losing my mind today again, but you have this right path card. It says you're on the right path. Keep moving forward. There you go. You have the settling card. It says your soul is telling you you're on the wrong path. Yeah, I feel like it's saying, how weird is that we have right path, wrong path showing up here? So I think that you are thinking about the right path. It's like maybe you're on a path and you're thinking about changing to a new path or making some changes in your life. And I feel like this reading will probably end up encouraging you to move towards the new path or to not settle, right? Even this lizard spirit here says, dream the world into being. So you have a dream, or there's something, and you definitely have a dream. The Page of Cups is the dreamer. And I feel that this is saying you need to not give up on, whatever this dream is or whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish. And you need to not settle. The settling card also says, allow yourself time and space to evolve to find your true path. And we start with the Four of Swords here. And the Four of Swords says, allow yourself time to recover and allow yourself time to heal and meditate and think about, what it is that you want for your life. And I think that would be a great thing for you to do this week. This week, by the way, I'm shooting this video on the 19th of June. And so, this week, the 17th, is kind of like a little bit of an emotional week, I would say. And so next week, the 24th, or, if you're watching this early, obviously, but if you're watching it the week of the 24th, never mind. But the 24th could be a much better week where you're coming out of this emotional energy and now you're better able to kind of like process information with the Four Swords. And that's exactly what I would do. The thing that's really standing out to me about your reading is actually the Four of Pentacles here. I think that you are basing, it's like you're basing your future success off of, past failures, right? And the Four of Pentacles is holding on too tightly to the past. We also see 444 here. You also have the Four of Wands right next to it. So 444 could be an important number for you this week. You might see it. But also, again, I think the Four of Pentacles is saying that you're in a much different time. Things are much more different. And you need to realize that whatever this right path is for you, and this right path card also says you're not lost. Sometimes the right path is not always the easiest, right? So it's not going to necessarily be easy, but I also feel that you need to realize that things have changed. We have the Death card. The beautiful thing about the Death card is that there are these two pillars from the moon right above my finger here. And between those two pillars, the sun is coming up. So it basically says that you're leaving behind a moon period and you're stepping into a period of the sun. You're stepping into a period of clarity or understanding or joy and happiness. And so I think that you are going through this change. Also, what I will say about the Death card is that the white rose on his banner there, it represents kind of like the pinprick of light in the darkness. So it can say that you are coming out of the darkness. With the Four of Swords, you have the Three of Swords here. There's something going on right here. All of this at the top of your reading. You could have, it's almost like this is a cloud, right? Because this is the top of your reading. And so it's almost like the energy on top of you is whatever this, maybe a heartbreaking situation, or maybe you've recently gone through a period of time where someone stabbed you in the back or did you dirty or whatever this is, looks like a mess, right? I'm not going to sugarcoat it. And so I think that you have this little bit of a, dark cloud above you. That's how I'm seeing the whole top row here, is just as like this dark cloud, when actually, below the surface, things are actually working out, even if they don't, that card said things are working out even if it doesn't look like it. So I think, I think you need to realize that, right? With the Four of Pentacles, you have the Seven of Cups. I'm wondering if this is a confusing situation as well, so with the Seven of Cups here. So sometimes I think that if a situation is confusing you, then that is the answer. It's like things don't have to be hard. I'm convinced. Even relationships, right? And sometimes I think when we're in a relationship, we need to look at the relationship and we need to look at, for example, how am I acting in this relationship? Am I still being the same person that I was, or, have I changed for the worse? Obviously if you're in a relationship and you've changed for the better, different story. But, it's like, are you doing things that are kind of like breaking you out of who you are, right? And, just to give you an example, I used to be in a relationship And I would talk to this person that I was with till like 2 o'clock in the morning, right? Which most people do that in relationships, right? But I go to bed at like 8:30, and I do this so I can wake up early and do readings, right? So I wake up at like 4:30, and and I get started with my day, and I get things going. When I was with that person, I was like less motivated, I was getting less done. For the most part, things were changing in the wrong direction. Again, this is not a criticism of that person. I'm just saying, like if I really looked at the relationship, I would have known that it wasn't going to work because there were just too many things that were getting in the way. And this doesn't have to be love. I'm just using that as an example. But it's like, is there something in your life that is taking you away from your center or like your core, like what you normally would do in a situation? I feel like that could be a little bit of a clue for a lot of you. Can't make this up. With the death card, you have the sun. So you are clearly entering into a much happier time. Again, I think you need to get rid of this black cloud. It could be a person. It could be, I really feel it's kind of like more of a belief system or a belief that things aren't going to work out. It just looks like a black cloud above your head here. When things want to work, the rest of the reading here is really, really positive. They're really good cards here. And it's really saying to me that things want to work out in your life. Things want to progress, and I think you need to allow that progress by kind of like sticking to the right path and maybe doing something that's going to cause you to grow. Because again, that right path card says the right path isn't always the easiest. Next, in the area of what's coming in for you, you have this hummingbird spirit says be here, be now. You have this lizard spirit says dream the world into being. When I picked up that lizard card, it was more saying to me that you have a dream, you have something that you want to accomplish, and now is the time to get to work basically with that lizard spirit. I think now is the time for you to start making things happen. The hummingbird can also represent having been on a long journey and now getting to your rewards. Hummingbirds they're tiny little birds, and they have very long migration routes, and they do this so that they can find food and so that they can get to food. So I feel for a lot of you, you've been on a long journey, and now that long journey is kind of like coming to an end. Sorry, I'm choking. That's why you watch me. You watch me to choke professionally, right? You have this King of Swords energy. Again, the King of Swords could be something that is kind of like lording over you. Like I said, this black cloud energy. I do partly feel that this is how you are showing up. Like you're showing up in a good position. I also think that it's kind of like confirmation that you have all the knowledge and wisdom necessary to be very successful. The King of Swords has a lot of knowledge and wisdom, but he just needs to use it to be successful. Next, you have the Four of Wands. The Four of Wands, of course, could be marriage, although I really feel this reading is talking about you committing to a path. The Four of Wands, you're on this side of the card, and you want to go through the middle. The Four of Wands kind of represents completion, and it represents needing to cross through the threshold here and needing to go celebrate with those people on the other side of the Four of Wands. So I really do feel you're kind of crossing through one stage of life and going to the next stage of life with the Four of Wands. The Four of Wands also, again, would represent that like 110% commitment to a new path. And so I feel for a lot of you that you could be committing to this new path, even if it is going to be a little bit more work. This path could also require you to, again, leave this behind. So there might be something, I don't really say this, I don't really see this in the reading is what I'm trying to say, but I get the feeling that you could be cutting something out. Again, to me, the Three of Swords kind of could represent cutting something out of your life, but really I would like to see the Five of Swords or even the Ace of Swords as well. But I do get that feeling that you could be removing something that is like a black cloud. You have the Page of Cups because you see better. I feel like the Page of Cups is really saying that you see something better for your life. He's looking at this fish in the cup there, and that fish might not exist. We don't actually know if the fish exists or not on the Page of Cups, but the Page of Cups can say that you have this dream that is that fish, and you need to grab onto that fish before it jumps into the water, and you need to ground your dream in reality by kind of like stepping off on this new path. With the King of Swords, you have two cards here. You have the Lovers and the King of Wands. Number one, that could say that there's something much better coming in for you. I'm wondering if you've dealt with, if this is a person, I'm wondering if you dealt with like an icy cold person and now you're being attracted or you're moving towards a person who's much warmer, who is much more into having a relationship in the first place. So I kind of get that energy here off of these cards. The King of Wands could also represent being a visionary, and the Lovers is, traditionally was a card of being at a crossroads, like having a choice to make. And again, you are clearly at a crossroads because you have that right path, wrong path, right path card, which is really funny that it came up like that. But, again, I think that there's a wrong path and a right path. It's almost like you've already been down a road. It's like the movie The Matrix, the best movie ever made, right? In that movie, Neo, when he gets into a car, the lady in the car is like, hey, he's thinking about not learning about the Matrix or whatever. And the lady's like, you've been down that road before. And so I feel like saying that. Like, I feel like saying that there's a choice right now. It's like one road you've been down before. The other road is something new. It's a little bit scary because you've never experienced it before. And there might be an awakening, by going down the right path, the new path. It might be a little bit more challenging in some ways, but I think it's the right path. With the Four of Wands, you have the Three of Pentacles here. I was gonna say I thought there were two threes here. You have the Three of Swords here, Three of Pentacles. Three of Pentacles says teamwork makes the dream work. So you could be discovering a person, if you want love, who really puts in the work. But I really also feel that the Three of Pentacles is a card of quality. And I look at the Three of Pentacles and the Eight of Pentacles, which you have right next to each other. I look at them as very similar energies. Three of Pentacles is all about, having mastered a craft because he's displaying his work normally up on the wall or, whatever that archway thing is. And the Eight of Pentacles is mastering a craft. So they both kind of represent mastering something. And I also feel like this is saying that you've done a lot of work on yourself, and now it's time to get rid of the black cloud. Like I said, that's above you, whatever that is. I really feel it could be like a belief for a lot of you. See, there is something about the Matrix here as well. You have the Page of Cups and you have the Tower. In the Matrix, Neo freaks out when he sees the Matrix for the first time. He almost awakens too quickly. What he is seeing is reality. It's like the perfect explanation of the Tower, right? I should do a breakdown of that movie and how it ties to the tarot because, again, when he's awakened, that is basically a Tower moment. He is seeing reality for what it actually is, but he hates it. He wants to go back to the real world. He wants to go back to the illusion, right? And that's what the Tower is all about. The Tower is all about having a shock to the system, being brought down to reality and seeing reality for what it actually is. And I'm wondering if you've had a moment like that where it's like you've learned something and you can never go back. It's like once you've learned something or you've awoken to a reality, there is no going back from that, no matter how much you want the opposite to be true. And so I feel like some of you, this black cloud could be a kind of like an awakening moment that you have had in your life, maybe recently, where you've learned something, but it's like there is no going back. Next, what are we doing? Oh yeah, messages from your future self. You have the Simplicity card and this Change card. Things are changing clearly on a very deep level. A lot of people get these cards of simplicity or keeping things simple. So I think the simple answer is the answer, and not overcomplicating things is probably going to be your best friend right now. And so that's what I would pay attention to. It's like so many times in my life, like I'm a crazy Gemini moon, right? And so I come up with all these like complex systems and ideas, even for like YouTube and everything like that. It's like never my super complex ideas that work. It's always like the stupid simple stuff, the straightforward stuff that works the best. So I do feel this is saying like what's going to work the best is the simple answer. You have the Ten of Swords, Eight of Pentacles, and the Fool. Ten of Swords says that something is dead, done, over with, but he is making this symbol right there with his hands, and it's the same symbol the Hierophant is making on his card. So the Ten of Swords really represents like a blessing in disguise. It can say that something not working out, or even having a shock to the system like the Tower, having this sudden realization about the reality of something in your life is the blessing, because yes, it's hard, but it's leading you down the right path. And I kind of feel like that's what this reading is saying. This is a deep reading. It kind of makes sense. We have a lot of energy going into Gemini. Jupiter just moved into Gemini. So it makes sense that you would be having these big, expansive awakenings or whatever you want to call it. You have the Eight of Pentacles. Eight of Pentacles is about focusing on the work that's in front of you. He has only one more pentacle to go, and then he is done. So I feel like a lot of you are very close to being done with the amount of work that you're doing or how much work you need to do. I also feel like you're going to start getting a result. I am getting here that if you're like worried about money or if you're worried about your finances, that your finances are going to be improving here. The Eight of Pentacles is material success on the horizon. So it kind of just says that you will get paid for the work that you're doing, or you're about to get paid for the work that you're doing. With the Fool, again, plain and simple, I think it's saying it's time to step off on this new path. We go, Three of Swords, Four of Swords, like time to leave something, to the Four Wands, it's time to have that completion moment where you wrap something up and cross through the portal. And then the Fool says you're ready for this new path or this new journey. With the Ten of Swords, you have the Page of Swords. Yeah, I feel like even in your worst moments, even in those days where you feel terrible or you feel like things aren't working out for you, you can't help but be curious about something new. It's like even if you have a black cloud above you, it's like you can still see the clarity that's in front of you. I literally feel it's just a black cloud above you, right? So it's like if you see past it, then you can't help but be curious about ways to kind of create this change. With the Eight of Pentacles, you have the Nine of Cups. Nine of Cups is like a wish or wish fulfillment, and I feel you should make a wish right now. But this is also about being in the energy of what you want, so time to be more positive. With the Fool, you have the Justice card. Yeah, probably justice coming in. Especially if someone stabs you in the back with the Ten of Swords, it doesn't have to be love. People can stab you in your back anywhere in your life. And the Justice card, I feel, is saying, like, there's no need to worry about whether or not someone's going to get karma or whether you're going to see them get karma or whatever. I always say that if you're hoping to see someone get karma, you're never going to see it, right? you can't wish karma on a person because they're never going to get it. So I always say, like, just move forward, live your life. The karma is you being successful. It's like, I used to get that question all the time, where people would be like, this person did me dirty and, they cheated on me or whatever, and are they going to get their karma? I'm like, well, first off, what you have to realize about people who cheat is they have terrible lives in the first place. It's like, think about the hole that has to exist for them to cheat in the first place, right? It's like there's some sort of emotional, broken, damaged situation going on there to make them cheat in the first place. Second, it is your duty, I believe, if someone cheats on you especially, to show them that they made a mistake. And you're not doing it for that reason. You're doing it to prove it to yourself that you are, you deserve better. So it's like, who cares what anyone does, right? Their life sucks. Anyway, trust me, anyone who cheats, anyone who does anyone dirty, it's like there's something wrong in their life, that they're searching for something they're never going to find, right? So it is your job to go make that person regret it, not for that reason, right? Because that never works, but because really you need to prove to yourself just that you are much, much better. You deserve justice, right? So rant over. Next, we're going to look at the good stuff. You have this card. You can't make this up. It says, what do you need to release? You have this card that says a new start is coming. So I think it's time to, release the black cloud in your life and to keep moving forward and to move towards like the new start. Again, the devil is showing up in the good stuff. So this could say that you are setting yourself free from a toxic situation and you're moving towards something much better. You have the Strength card. The Strength card, I think we said this, or maybe we didn't. I might be making that up, but I feel like you've developed a lot of strength. She is getting that lion to submit to her, and that lion has its tail between its legs. So it's submitting to her. The lion kind of represents her inner voice or her inner critic, and she's getting it to submit to her. So she has to do this work every single day. But also, who in their right mind would stick their hands in a lion's mouth? The answer is nobody. So again, she is doing something that requires strength. And you could say, I always think of the Strength card as a card of attention because she's probably getting a lot of attention from people with her strength. It's like people are seeing how strong she is. You also have the High Priestess. I think you definitely need to trust your intuition at this time. Weirdly enough, I am getting something about blessings here. The High Priestess is not really a card of blessings, but I think you could be getting some blessings. With the Devil, you have the Moon. Yeah, again, remember what I said at the beginning about this being like a confusing situation? I feel like the confusion is the answer, that you need to move away from it. With the Strength card, here you go. Blessings, exactly. I was literally getting blessings on that High Priestess, and the Hierophant represents blessings. Also, the Hierophant and the High Priestess together are divine counterparts. Not really a love reading. There's a little bit of love here, but if you want love, this right here could be like a divine connection. I look at the High Priestess and the Hierophant as a much stronger connection than the Emperor and the Empress. To me, this is like spiritually led. It is something that is a little bit deeper than just, Emperor and Empress. With the High Priestess, you have the Ten of Swords. Yeah, I think you're getting the blessings from this Ten of Swords situation. I really feel like you're creating the blessings. Maybe that's a better way to put it here, Gemini. It's like the things that you are doing are, you being strong and you, kind of developing that strength and doing what I was talking about with the whole breakup thing. It doesn't have to be a breakup, but like maybe you got fired or something like that. Like showing that you're better is going to be the blessing. You have this Flowers card. It says happiness on it. We see a lot of happiness wanting to break through here with the Sun. You have this Vine card. It says seek out information that will help you. Yeah, great time of learning. I pretty much say in every one of my readings that I think we should all be learning new stuff. You have this March card and also this diamond. It says you'll be receiving or giving a precious gift. So there could be a gift coming in for you, probably a gift from the universe. You have this lion. It says time to act. Yes, you've probably done the work on yourself with the strength card, and now it's time to get off on the right path. And then finally, you have this older woman card. It says dealings or relationships with an older woman. And you have this parrot. It says someone will gossip about you and all your secrets. So I think you've been dealing with this since the last Mars retrograde, when Mars went retrograde in Gemini. Mars is gonna be retrograding this year at the end of the year in Leo, and again, maybe you're finally bringing an end to that like 2 year cycle or 2.5 year cycle, whatever it is, of dealing with Mars having retrograded in your sign. And I would just ignore the gossip. I always feel like Geminis, I don't know, like, is it part of your karma? Probably, like having to deal with gossip and things like that, but it always comes up for you. But really interesting reading. So thank you for being here, and definitely enjoy your week.